The body's actions are coordinated along systems called the central nervous system, which is composed of the brain, spinal cord, and peripheral nervous system, which occurs on offshoots called the nerves. Now, in these nerves, you find the certain types of cells. They're called neurons or neurones, and what these are composed of is a generic structure, are a cell body, in the center, which has dendrites, which are usually used to transmit signals, usually across other neurons, via synapses, which are not displayed here, but for a reason. And coming off of the cell body, you have this much longer part called the axon. And the axon is actually surrounded by these Schwann cells which actually are specialized in coil around the axon body. In between each one, you find these little spaces, these little 2 to 3 nanometer gaps called nodes around and these nodes are actually essential in relaying the signal by charges. And also they secrete a specific substance called myelin. This myelin actually creates a myelin sheath, which works towards insulating the axon. And all the way at the end, we find this space, this actually fairly large portion called the terminal axon. Now, there's actually 3 different types of neurons. There's a sensory neuron, which primarily receives information, detects information on the external area, receives stimuli, and of the immediate environment like heat, moisture, pain, and that actually goes up into the relay neuron, which is going to relay this information over to the motor neuron. And the motor neuron is actually going to transmit impulses that it's received all the way into receptors such as muscles or glands, which will tell them either start contracting, start relaxing, or tell them to, or in this case of glands, start producing this and this hormone, this and this protein, steroid, etc. And a really important function of our body is the reflex arc. What the reflex arc is actually a very quick, very sudden reaction that goes along a specific pathway. This reflex arc, the specific pathway, primarily starts with the detection of a stimuli. In this case, let's say extreme heat. The extreme heat is detected by a receptor, and that signal, which is going to be heat, is found by a sensory neuron. And that sensory neuron is going to have that information taken up by a relay neuron, and that relay neuron is going to transfer it over to a motor neuron. And as we discussed previously, that motor neuron is going to relay that impulse over to an effector, and that effector is going to cause a response, in this case would be pulling your hand away from that extreme source of heat so you don't cause yourself any harm.